Ever sat down to get some work done and suddenly found yourself deep cleaning your kitchen, scrolling social media, or learning random facts about penguins? Yeah, me too. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we put things off, even when we know it'll stress us out later? Is it laziness, a lack of willpower, or is something deeper happening in our brains? Today, we're diving into the psychology of procrastination, why we do it, how it messes with us, and most importantly, how to break the cycle. Stick around, my friends, because by the end of this video, you might just find the key to getting things done without the last-minute panic. So let's be honest. Procrastination is one of those things we all do, but we never really stop to ask why. We just assume it's because we're lazy or we don't have enough self-discipline. But here's the truth. Procrastination isn't about laziness at all. It's actually a battle between different parts of your brain. On one side, we've got the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that plans, sets goals, and makes responsible decisions. On the other side, we've got the limbic system, which just wants to keep you comfortable and happy. Guess which one is faster? That's right, the limbic system. It's the reason you'd rather watch one more episode than start that assignment. It wants instant gratification, while the prefrontal cortex is trying to remind you that future you will hate you for this. But here's where it gets interesting. Procrastination isn't just a brain issue. It's an emotional issue. We often delay tasks not because they're difficult, but because they make us feel uncomfortable. Maybe you're afraid of failing, so you avoid starting. Maybe you're a perfectionist, so you convince yourself you need more time to get it just right. Or maybe you have decision paralysis, too many options, so you end up doing nothing at all. Sound familiar? And let's not forget the worst part. We procrastinate knowing it's a bad idea. We do it, then we regret it. Then we swear we'll never do it again until we do it again. It's a vicious cycle, but the good news, you can break it. One of the simplest ways to trick your brain into starting is the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself you'll work on something for just 5 minutes. No pressure, no expectations. And once you start, your brain usually decides, well, I'm already here. Might as well keep going. It's sneaky, but it works. Another great trick is temptation bundling. You pair something you enjoy with something you need to do. Only listen to your favorite podcast while doing chores. Only drink your favorite coffee while writing reports. Your brain starts associating the boring task with something pleasurable. And suddenly, it doesn't feel so bad. And let's talk about accountability. If you struggle with procrastination, don't just rely on willpower. Get an accountability partner. Tell a friend, I'm finishing this by Friday. Hold me to it. Suddenly, it's not just about you anymore. And that external pressure helps you get things done. At the end of the day, procrastination isn't about fixing who you are. It's about understanding why you procrastinate and changing your habits to work with your brain instead of against it. And trust me, once you learn how to break the cycle, you'll wish you started sooner. Now, let's learn some vocabulary in context. We threw around a lot of useful words and phrases today, so let's break down a few you'll actually want to use in real life. Now, a big one is instant gratification. This is when we prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term benefits, like choosing video games over study or junk food over a healthy meal. Next time you catch yourself saying, I'll do it later, ask yourself, am I choosing instant gratification over something more important? Another powerful one is decision paralysis. Ever stood in front of a menu, stared at 20 options, and had no idea what to choose? That's decision paralysis, when too many choices make it impossible to decide. This is why people procrastinate big projects. They don't know where to start, so they do nothing. Then there's self-sabotage. It's when we subconsciously stop ourselves from succeeding. Like when you put off an important project until the last minute. then blame the lack of time for why it didn't turn out great. Now, recognizing when you're self-sabotaging is the first step to stopping it. We also talk about temptation bundling, a fancy way of saying trick yourself into doing something boring by pairing it with something fun. It's why some people only watch their favorite shows while at the gym. If you struggle with motivation, temptation bundling is a game changer. And finally, there's accountability. Now, this is when someone else holds you responsible for getting something done. If you've ever told a friend, make sure I don't bail on the gym tomorrow, you've used accountability. It works because we're much more likely to follow through when someone else is watching. All right, now I will leave you with a couple of questions to discuss, and I would love to hear what you think in the comments below. My first question to you is, what's the biggest reason you procrastinate? Is it perfectionism, fear of failure, or something else? And have you ever successfully beaten procrastination? What worked for you? Tell us, maybe we can all use that. And do you think procrastination is always a bad thing, or can it sometimes be useful? My next question is, what's the weirdest thing you've ever done to avoid work? Be honest. Have you deep cleaned your fridge instead of finishing a project? And my final question is, if you had to pick just one technique to overcome procrastination, which one would you try first? Well, my friends, let me tell you that there's so much more to this topic, and if you want to dive even deeper, check out the full podcast episode I just published today on my English Plus podcast. And if you really want to dig deeper and unlock the full content of all our premium episodes, you can do that by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Patreon. You can find the links in the description of the episode. That includes premium episodes, exclusive audio series, and English learning courses. So that'll be all for today. Take your English and knowledge to the next level and never stop learning with English Plus Podcast. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.